Hi everyone, I'm Eric.
And I'm Lisa, authors of Habits That Create a Happy, Excited, Confident You.
Yeah, today we're talking about 3 things that negatively affect your future.
First, we want to say thank you for joining us as usual. We're happy to be here with you, and we're so happy that you're here with us.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys. Thanks.
So let's delve into it. 3 things that negatively affect your future.
Tongue twister today.
We're talking about your outcomes and you creating your outcomes of your future. The first one we're going to begin with is the don't let go mindset of what's happening when not working.
Yeah, it's, a lot of times, people don't accept reality for what it is, and they're not willing to let go of what's not working, and they don't allow the change to take place. So it's a real hard thing to move on to what you want when you're not willing to let go of what you don't want.
Right. And this is a really hard thing because letting go of what's not working is really hard. I know that I experience in my own life and of what I had going on in my life. Sometimes you don't realize that something's not working. Mm-hmm. You just keep going on every day, and then you fall into this way of living and these habits that you feel comfortable in a place, right, but so much that you don't realize that it's not working. So really it comes down to all about your awareness. Mm-hmm. And healing and letting go is very important. Like I said, I had this in my own experience of my healing after my sexual abuse, and many years later of realizing that I had to let go of this. Mm-hmm. And that meant really coming and facing it and facing what I had happened to me, and feeling it, facing it, and then freeing it.
Right. I know for when we had the farm too, just before we sold the cows, we were having, trying to borrow money and everything else, and we were waiting for someone else to give us the answers of what we were looking for instead of us being creative and looking for alternative, ways of approaching our situation. We kind of just passed the buck on to someone else, hoping that they would solve our problems for us, and we weren't really accepting reality for what it was. And ultimately, we lost the farm because of it. We got caught up in the stress of it all, and the worries and doubts and fears, and we didn't really have the vision of where we wanted to go at that point because we lost it. And we got stuck with the routine of it all and just going to work every day and not really seeing it as our own creation. And it just dampened our creativeness. And when that happened, we fell into that victim circumstance of being, receiving all the actions that we weren't doing instead of creating the actions that we wanted to do, and really create the outcome that we really desired. And looking back on it now, we really realized that, but during that time we were almost like blinded by the fear of what could happen if we because of the situation that we were in. So it's especially with farming, it's there's a lot of outside influences, weather and environmental conditions, and market conditions that you really don't have control over, but yet how we react to our circumstances really has our outcome is our outcome. So that's a really important thing to really consider when you're going throughout life, not just be caught up in what's going on outside of you, but really inside of you. Because at that point, we really didn't. We haven't really gone into spirituality deeply like we are today.
Right.
So we never recognized our own inner feelings, our inner self, and respected ourselves like we do today. So that was a really good lesson for us looking back on it. And I think now we have a greater perspective of that, and moving forward is a lot easier.
Right. We could really feel ourselves at this time fighting it. Like we were bringing everything that we could to the table to fight the resistance of facing reality. We were we were bringing, we worked together closely in our business, and we were bringing that frustration home with us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we weren't separating, what was going on at the farm with what was going on at home. We were both taking things personally within each other.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a lot of stuff that was coming up from each other with our own feelings. Like Eric said, we hadn't been delved into our spirituality, so we didn't know how to handle this of what wasn't working for us. And then there came a time where we had to, face this. And this really leads into, our second thing is don't allow the change to take place. We were at a standpoint that we had to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big decision in our lives at the time. And all this time we were leading up to, we were fighting it and trying to, we weren't creatively thinking of ways to get, to bring ourselves out of a position. We were just waiting for something to happen, thinking that it would happen. We just kept on thinking, well, maybe this will happen or maybe this will happen. So in the meantime of fighting, this resistance, we weren't allowing change to take place.
Yeah, I think we missed a lot of opportunities to create those changes because we were, we weren't allowing ourselves to accept opportunities that came our way, which there was. We just didn't take advantage of them.
Right, because we were, like you said, we were blinded by everything that was going wrong.
Mm-hmm. Instead of what we wanted to create.
And this really put us in, like, a halt of, at this time we were exhausted. Mm-hmm. We were exhausted because, when you're fighting the resistance, you become exhausted emotionally, mentally, and we were also very tired physically because we were working 7 days a week, so we had no time to actually take a break and really, regroup ourselves at this place that we were at.
Right, because we were, we were our own, basically our own bosses and employees and the whole 9 yards. But so we worked 7 days a week, 365 days. We didn't really have any outside help except for your dad helping us here and there and stuff like that, and some friends. But when you don't have those breaks, you really get, it's almost like you get stale in a way. There's no way for you to really refresh, and even though we liked what we did, it may not have been a passion for us, but we still liked it. But still, you kind of get, over time, when you don't refresh yourself, it just, everything gets stale. It gets, it's like boredom sets in. You lose your excitement and passions for things that you would, even your normal, your passions that you really have for your hobby and stuff like that. You kind of, it dampers everything because you just get so tired and overwhelmed. It just takes an effect on you, and you don't realize it, until you really start doing some other things that you've discovered. Wow, this, I wish we would have done this all along. Here we wanted to be, I'm a hard worker, and I'm gonna, do what I can. I don't need breaks and all that stuff. And it's just, it's kind of foolish in a way. And looking back on it now, I wish we would have done more of it. I mean, we did take afternoons off and, try to do things light on Sundays and stuff like that, so we'd have more personal time and stuff like that. But really, you really need some time off. Some pauses, some breaks, some. Just to refresh, regroup, rethink, get a different perspective on life, and when you can do that, it's really.
That's when change can take place because you're really you're beginning to honor yourself, and when you start doing that, and when you start allowing change to take place, you're opening up your channels of guidance and intuition, and so really. You're bringing together, your own source of being, and, you're really honoring yourself.
Yeah, because I think a lot of us forget that we're our own creators of ourselves and whoever we're, in contact with, our partners, our family members, our co-workers. We're all co-creating, and I think a lot of times we forget that we're actually a creator ourselves and a co-creator. And, when you honor that, you can really amplify things in an awesome way. It's just really awesome.
Right. And, delving into the third thing that negatively affects your future is that accepting reality. And when you stand at a place And, imagine yourself looking over a cliff, and, what do you see at that moment? And, I think often we forget to do this in life. We don't stop for a moment and really see what's around us and really see what's happening and embrace what's happening and our feelings, our emotions, everything around us. I myself sometimes have to remind myself to do that. And when you accept the reality for what it is, that's become your place, and you are in your place of honoring yourself, because then you realize there is so much more, and where I'm at right now, where I can go, you really start to see, here I am.
Yeah. When you don't accept reality for what it is, you really can't change the future, because you gotta know the difference between what you want and what you have. In order to do that, you have to accept reality for what it is. That way okay, I gotta do this and this and this in order to have the outcome that I want. And it's something that you really have to learn how to be honest with yourself, most importantly, because you can pretend all you want, but you can't really lie to yourself, and you can't lie to what you want to achieve and have, because you just won't get there that way. You have to accept it for what it is, not what you want it to be. I mean, we all want great things, yes, but in order to get that, we have to accept it for what it is starting off, and then we can have the desired outcome that we want.
Right. This was our biggest change. The day that we sat and said to ourselves, this isn't working anymore, and we needed to make a change. This, for us, was our facing reality, because then we knew what we had to do. And it also came along with making some big changes in our life. I mean, we were taking leaps and bounds. Like, we didn't know where we were going at this point. So our face in reality was, at this moment, really saying, you know what? Our business isn't working the way that we want it to be. It's time to let it go and move on. And, we did that. And, many changes came after that, because it does bring many changes. We worked together for many years. We now had our second child on the way during this moment. And it also, we owned our own business for a very long time. So, deep down inside, we were very nervous because of the fact that, now what was going to be our source of income? So, during this time, we were starting to face reality, but we were also making decisions and having to make decisions on, where would our future go from here?
Yeah. For a while, they were just kind of like, didn't really know where we wanted to go and how we wanted to fit in, and it's like we just didn't know what we wanted to do, who we wanted to work for, what. It was definitely a crazy time for us. I mean, looking back on it now especially, it's like, I don't know how we even managed to get through it all.
It was a big lifestyle change. We had this lifestyle, the same lifestyle, for so many years of doing the farm. We woke up every morning. Picture yourself when you're back in high school. You know where you're going every morning. You get up, you go to school. The same thing happened with us with the farm. We get up. Although I have to say, the farming does throw in some, little twerks here and there twist and turns. So does life, though. That's the thing. So we really got big knowledge of life through the farming. So, this was our biggest change. But it also led to some pretty amazing things, because after this change, we actually started to delve more into our, ourselves and our spiritual part of ourselves. And when we say spiritual, we really started to delve into who we were as a human being.
Exactly. This was our big thyself evolution, I guess you would call it.
That's a good one. I like that.
Where we, for the first time, this was a big crisis for us. I guess you could say it was not so much a midlife crisis, because we're still pretty young yet, but I guess you could call it a midlife crisis, because we had to rediscover ourselves and really look at ourselves and figure out who we were and what we wanted to do and how we wanted to go about ourselves, and face our challenges. And our biggest challenge was ourself.
Right. And during this time, we had a lot of I guess you could say a lot of internal things come up of who we were now, because we were in that mindset of so long of, doing what we were doing, and now we reached a point where, like, what do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? I mean, yes, I'm a mom and a dad, and at this point we also started to really delve into, like, what do I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
You say midlife crisis, it was really, we joke about it, 'cause it was a midlife crisis we were going through together.
Yeah.
But then, so after all this time, we had to figure out, like, what are my likes? What do I like?
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? This was ourselves. This was thyself. It was discovering our full potential. It was really getting back to the love that we had for ourselves.
Yeah, really had to learn to nurture ourselves. Nurturing is, some people say it's selfish to take care of take care of yourself and love yourself and all that, but not really, because you can only give to others what you give yourself. So, I mean, we really had to learn to respect and honor ourselves and love ourselves first, so that way we could be more truly honest in our relationships and, going about life and all that in the first place.
Right, because during this time after, we let the business go, life got really stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of our biggest turning points, because this is where we also had, like, the drifting part in our relationship. Mm-hmm. Because stress does so much for a relationship.
Especially financial.
And financial, the financial stress. So during this time when we started to actually go through this, stressful point in our life and our relationship, this was also our time individually, not just a couple, but individually, start to, bring up past emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Emotions and feelings, they're all a part of life, and when we don't honor those emotions or feelings and we build it all up inside, there's no space for anything else.
Yep, I'm guilty of that. Burying everything inside and not expressing my feelings and stuff.
A healing point, this was my beginning of my healing journey, of my letting go, when we started to go through, a lot of our bringing up past emotions that I had. I know that for myself. But it was also a clearing. It was a self-nurturing. It was an opening of space for what was good in life at this time. Healthy children. We were healthy as a couple. We were healthy living. At this time. So you say with selfishness, honoring yourself. What greater gift than you can give to the world to be mm-hmm. who you are, and to love yourself and to honor yourself, and then give that part of yourself to the world. And be grateful for everything that you have around you. Even for life itself, mm-hmm. for waking up every morning and, seeing the sunrise and seeing those little simple things in life that when you're so busy, you often miss.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy in life to get, lose touch with yourself, because a lot of times we're trying to impress people, our bosses, our coworkers, our friends, our family, and we lose touch of who we truly are by not expressing who we are truly, and that's a shame within itself, because everyone is unique, and when you can keep that uniqueness and bring it forth, I mean, that's something really awesome that the world could surely appreciate when you really truly express it.
Right. And with that, for so long we felt the victim mm-hmm. of why didn't this work, and why didn't that work, and maybe we should have done this, and
second guessing yourself, your decisions.
They did this to me, or we were blaming different companies. We were really in victim mode after this, and during this,
fear and anger kicks in.
So much that it really took away from where we could go now that we had this big self-realization and really delving into who we were. And it's so easy to fall into it's like a trap that mm-hmm. life gets you in that victim mode, when really it's a big world out there. There's so many opportunities mm-hmm. that if you're willing to just open up another door And it's not easy because fear, unfortunately, fear is like a main kick in the butt.
Yep.
And when you can, letting go of that business for us was big. And let me tell you, there were so many fears. We know there was, but we also realized at a time that it was time to, get back to who we were and rejuvenate our mind and our body and our spirit. And we took after 10 years of not taking like a trip, because our first trip was our honeymoon when we first got into farming.
Mm-hmm.
We decided, we took a trip, a family vacation, and that was great for us, And we always said maybe we should have done that like before we had made a decision.
Mm-hmm.
But really, at that point we knew it was too late. But what we needed was to regroup ourselves, So those little things that you can do to really, get back. Get
grounded,
even little trips,
right.
Self-grounding and self-nurturing your all parts of your your body, mind, and spirit, because they all work together.
Mm-hmm.
And they all make up who you are. When you can bring yourself into balance with all those three things, what amazing things you can do, and you can really create some amazing, beautiful things when everything's in harmony.
Especially these days, it's important to get out in nature and really touch the ground, because a lot of us are on computers, we're on the internet and the TV, and we're inside a lot. It's important to get out in nature and have that biological connection with the earth and yourself, and the spirit's part too is it's all part of the creation. It's really awesome.
Yeah, we try to do that, especially all together with the kids, and because it really it's getting back to like that childlike wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Watching them pick up the little tadpole that they caught in the water, and if you can take yourself back to the time that you used to do that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to stop doing those same things.
No.
And when you start beginning to honor yourself, you really see that we're all children inside.
Yeah.
Just because we grow old in our bodies doesn't mean that you still can't have this childlike wonder to you and keep it with you. Because if you remember as a child, our children bring home a lot of creative artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And it is so beautiful. But there's nothing that says as we grow older that we don't have to still bring home that creative artwork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like yesterday we had to go to the post office, so we figured we'd stop into a local park next on the way to the post office, which is right down the road from our house, and there's a little creek that goes through, and we stopped there and took the kids, and it's a really nice place to to park your vehicle and walk down to the creek, and the kids can play around the edge of the creek and
get wet,
and frogs and crayfish and all that stuff, and it's really nice to to hear the sounds of the water, and feel the sunshine on you and touch the water and explore things. It's actually a really good practice to get into the present moment, which is so important for all of us too, is because a lot of times we're so focused on the past or the future with worries and doubts and fears and all that, we forget to be in the present moment. And the present moment is where it's all at anyhow. It's this is where the time and place where you're going to feel those emotions of the now. The now is so important. This is the time where you can create anew in the moment. So
yeah, and it's awareness.
Mm-hmm.
You really get grounded in awareness and your surroundings, and hearing the little bird, hearing the, and it's just, you don't have to do this this can be anywhere.
Right.
Sit outside and watch the sunset, or, wake up early in the morning and watch the sunrise. They're just little things, and they're so simple that you can really bring into your life. Take a few minutes. If you have children, I always like to kind of peek in on them as they're sleeping. It brings, your awareness, and it brings you present. And when you're present, so much more can be created when you're present, because you're not thinking about what happened yesterday, and you're not thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow. You're just there in that moment.
Right. So important. So important. I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's something about it. It's just awesome. It's like a lot of us when we listen to music, we're singing along and stuff. It's just another one of those ways of bringing the sensations through. Getting in touch with your feelings, which is what life is really about, really.
Yeah, you ever just sit and listen to the music, and all of a sudden you feel your beat of your foot going,
Yeah.
or you're tapping along the steering wheel in the car, and you're feeling happy. Listen to that. This is all about the emotions and the connecting, and whatever makes you happy at that moment. Yesterday it was us going to the park, and it's when you're doing that, you're getting connected internally, and you're getting to know yourself more and what makes you happy, and what not necessarily what makes you happy, but what brings out that happy, like I say, it's a happy gene.
Yeah.
Like what brings out, so you're getting to know yourself, and when it comes down to it, yourself is really love. And ultimately, you have the most to gain from loving yourself.
You do.
And when, so much can happen with knowing that one thing, because you can transform your life in so many ways. And you're not, when you're doing that, you're not trying to fix the past. Only become aware of it. And you're also taking control of your own life. Everything is energy, and when you bring love into what you're doing, all of your energy can be focused and go into creating your future now.
Yeah, let's face it. We're our biggest critics of ourselves. The voice inside of our head, beats us up more than what we realize and what we really want it to do. And, that's something that we choose to do, not necessarily we have to do. I mean, we can beat ourselves up, or we can really love ourselves and, ignore the criticism of our other side of the brain that, gives us our choices in that. So, it's really important to love ourselves so we can, fully express ourselves and, live with joy and happiness, which so many of us are seeking in the first place. Everybody wants to be happy, excited, and confident, but yet they beat themselves up. When one little thing happens, or one thing they didn't do. It's a really vicious cycle if we allow it.
Yeah, and I've been in that place. I'm guilty of that so many times over the years, and now I'm at this place where if I find myself started doing that, I would say, whoa, I put the brakes on.
Yep.
I said, this is just my mind. I'm still jumping through hurdles. I'm still breaking through fears. We both are. It's just becoming aware of it and saying, whoa, this is just a part of myself. And I can honor it and say, I really love myself. And it's not a selfish thing, I really love myself enough to say, I'm not going to let this happen to me, and I'm not going to allow it to happen to me. And, if I do let it happen to me, I just move on.
Right.
Because, when you're holding it, you're not helping.
Right. We all make mistakes, and, even our thoughts, it's okay. It's just part of the process, It's just, honor it, observe it, and then, pretty much let it go.
Your mind is like this amazing, beautiful machine, and your mind tells every part of your body what to do. Our daughter was asking us just last week, how does your fingers know how to work? And I was telling her, your mind, your brain, sends these amazing signals out, and everything is in response to what your mind says. And so she's looking at me like I've probably got two heads because she's only in second grade. But I think she understood that, your thoughts are important, because she'll always say, Mommy, sorry I was thinking that today. And I'm like, it's okay. I think sometimes we forget to honor that we have thoughts and feelings and emotions. And it's really okay when those things come up, because it's a human nature. It's a beautiful human nature, because it helps you to heal and move forward and not hold on to those things that, let those things go. I always I found myself always saying, cancel that. I'm just going to delete it out of my head because, you know what? It was a thought. I had the thought, and, it's a brain. Our body functions with thoughts, and it also functions with emotions, and, but when you can actually bring those things into balance, in awareness, and move forward with those, positive, you say positive intentions out there, but it's about positive actions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty amazing what can be done.
Yeah, it's really about choices. I mean, there's a lot of people out there say the ego is a bad thing, and this side of the brain's good, and that side of the brain's not. But really, all the brain's function is awareness. And in order to give you a choice, free will, so to speak, your brain has to give you both sides of the coin. If it didn't, there wouldn't be a choice, right? So it's all how you perceive it. If you perceive it to be bad, you perceive it to be good, so it is. And, the brain, all it wants to do is make the observations and give you the outcomes that are possible. So, for me, I just don't believe there's a negative ego, a positive ego, whatever you want to call it, but just a mind that observes and gives you the choice. Your mind doesn't judge. It doesn't, try to make you make a decision. It's the choice is ultimately you. And excuse me. I truly believe that, when you make a choice, obviously it's going to automatically give you the flip side. Now you don't have to, say you want to follow your dreams, but your mind's like, well, what about the risks? What about how learning the process? What about quitting my job? What about all these things? That's just the mind's job, to give you these are the outcomes. Make sure you're aware of it. It's not necessarily saying don't do it. It's just a tool for you to make those choices. So learning to follow what you love and what you want in life, regardless of what your mind is telling you, is something that if you can master that, you can truly master your life and your life direction, and have those outcomes, desires that you want, and accomplish them. Because no matter what level you get, there's always going to be some level of fear. There's always going to be some level of doubt, some level of skepticism. That's just our inner workings of our mind. And it's we're a complicated being. We're a mix of physical, spiritual, seen and unseen forces that we haven't really grasped the whole big picture yet, and we have a long ways to go before we do that. But there's a lot going on, and you don't necessarily have to understand things, but just be aware that there's always a choice in how we choose to react and take the actions that we want.
Right.
So,
I think this is where you can bring your inner intuition into, because this is where you can connect your mind to your inner intuition, because your inner intuition is your gut feeling. You're telling you wake up and you just don't have a feeling, a good feeling that day, and you keep fighting it, and you keep saying, oh no, or you keep putting it off aside. And then I don't know how many times I've had this happen where it's like, something did happen, and you're like, then you're doubting yourself. You're like, well, was that really my mind just telling me things, or was I really feeling something? And this is where you can connect that mind to feeling intuition, sorry. And I think it's really wonderful when you can start to open up the space in yourself to really listen to those intuitive feelings. Because really, when you do, it's pretty amazing that not just talking about what can be created here, but we're talking about, what you can do. Like, intuitively, when you're driving down the road and you say, well, something doesn't feel right, I'm just going to take a right instead of a left. And we did this, I remember one day, something told us not to go to the farm store. And the same route that we take, there was an accident at the same time that we were going to be taking that route. And it was a pretty, I think I'm not sure what it involved, but I know it wasn't a very good accident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no accidents are good, but intuitively, we thought afterwards, we're like, wow, maybe we weren't supposed to go at that time
Right.
or on that route. So I think when we start to open up the space in our, and let go of the doubter more, we can open up the space to listen to ourselves intuitively. And,
Yeah.
that ties in together with creating too.
Definitely. And here's the kicker too. Not all of the thoughts you're hearing are yours either, because we're never alone on our journey on Earth, and there's always help available. Whether that's angels, your guides, God, Creator. There's always that's the spirit coming through, and spirit is obviously it has no physical form, so it's going to come through as thoughts and ideas. So you know this is one of the things that we realize, how do we get ourselves out of the way so we can receive guidance in a way that it's going to serve us better in this journey? And, the best thing we found was through, meditation. And, when we put ourselves off to the side and allow, we can send our prayers and thoughts up to the heavens, but in order to receive them, we have to get ourselves out of the way. So that way, we're not mixing, our shortcomings or, our misunderstandings or, our doubts and fears and worries that, if we don't get ourselves out of the way, they intertwine with that guidance, and we get a mixed message and a mixed guidance, which, obviously gives us a, mixed direction. So, those are one of the things that we found that are really, really helpful is, meditating, taking those pauses, getting in touch with the earth, and grounding ourselves, and getting back in touch with our spiritual self.
Yeah, I believe it comes back to allowing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's that big allowing, because when we allow change to happen, we can open new doors, and there are so many possibilities out there.
Mm-hmm.
When we allow ourselves to sit and really just be present, we allow guidance from our angels, our, whatever the heavens, whatever it is for you.
Mm-hmm.
We just found, even like 5 or 10 minutes of sitting and meditating, it's just being present and allowing. And then, allowing change to happen. Because, change happens in everyday life. And allowing it to happen and fighting it are two very different things.
Mm-hmm.
And, allowing yourself to be in a position to create your amazing life is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And, we want you to know that you can do it. Whatever you put out there and say that you want to do, no matter what the changes you go through, because they're going to happen, whether you call them bumps in the roads,
Mm-hmm.
Detours, whatever you want to call them, they're going to happen because life happens. And, we're here on this journey in this physical form, and life happens. But it's how you handle it and how you allow it to happen with those changes where some pretty remarkable things can happen.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of times where, the worst things in our life have become our best point. Now, I wouldn't say our best points, but, really huge turning points in our life. And it's just amazing when we look back at it. It's like, man, why did all that happen to us? And, just like when we lost our farm, it's like, we always saw ourselves being lifelong farmers and all that stuff, but, we lost it all. And looking back, we may not have had our, self-realization, So looking back now, it's like, I wouldn't change it for anything. I mean, that was one of the best, like I said, one of the best things that happened to me, because I have a deeper understanding of not only myself, but the universe and, all these other things that I was able to explore afterwards, because it freed up a lot of my time. I was able to do research and take classes and, participate in things and do things and, go on expeditions and stuff like that. It was just really awesome, getting in touch with all this stuff.
Right. And it's hard to get past that point of thinking for for a very long time it was for me, because I used to ask myself, well, why did I have to go through what I went through when I was younger? And I come to realize that one thing is I wouldn't know more about love. And knowing about love, the love you have yourself, and being able to open yourself up to receive that love and give that love to another person in life is pretty something special. So through my happening that I had when I was younger, come to this day, I really know so much more about love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened for me. And, love is pretty important. So I come to realize that, I had to go through what I went through to know more about love.
Mm-hmm. Yep, like I was saying, it's just, you just never know. A lot of times when you're going through something, it's hard to know what the outcomes are going to be. But looking back, you really get to see the point of, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be who I am today. So it's really important not only honor yourself, but honor your past too, because it really, we're not our past, but we've become a different person because of our past.
Feel it, face it, free it. That's what I believe. Allow and accept. I mean, you can vice versa, the accept and allow. They both go hand in hand. All three go hand in hand.
You do.
So, they're so important to your future. They're important to now, but they're so important to your future. And, the outcome that you really desire, where you want to go, they all play a big role in all parts of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's pretty amazing. Just, you gotta realize how important ourselves really are, and taking care of ourselves. Even during the day, there's simple things you can do, like take pauses. If you just sit there and just take some deep breaths. Just gather your thoughts and get into the present moment. I mean, it's just so important. And taking time off from work, and maybe a date with yourself, just to go spend some time, doing what you love, like one of your hobbies or something, just, or whatever it is, just take time to do that. I mean, these are things that we've learned that have made a huge difference for us. I mean, especially taking vacations. This, like I said, doing the farm, we work 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and we didn't take vacations, and we wish we did. Looking back now, we see how important that is, because it's really nice to not only go out there and explore your country or the world in itself, but it's just nice to see meet different people and see different places. And like for us, we took 3 trips across country driving, because we just wanted to see our country. And I just can't believe how diversified America really is. I always lived on the East Coast, up in the Northeast, so all we have is trees and a lot of rain and stuff like that. So everything's always green. But when we took a trip out west, it's like going to a different world, where there, you get out to the prairies, where there's hardly any, just like no trees, and different terrain and big skies, and we've been to the deserts and the cactuses and the different things out there. It's in the ocean. It's just so amazing. The planet and the universe has so many wonderful gifts to show us and to experience that. I mean, it's just so important to get out there and experience creation, because that's really what it's about, is getting out there, creating and co-creating and being in creation. And it's a really beautiful thing when you can do that. And if we're stuck in our own little world, we kind of miss out on that, and that's a shame, because TV, movies could not justify it. We actually see it in person, in the present. It's amazing. I can't get over how diversified this country really is, and it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, and we had our children with us for, all 3 trips, and what fun. I mean, we had so much fun. Our kids were great travelers, but it was so much fun watching them as like little explorers, getting to learn the desert, getting to discover, so many other things that, I didn't get to take those big trips when I was a kid, but for them, it was like, their own little adventurers and explorers. And we all had some good quality fun. We went on one trip with a friend and my niece, and we had so much fun. And, it's great. You have to keep the fun alive in life. It's a magic in itself. When you lose the fun, there's like this happiness in your heart that's, it's meant to shine, and it's meant to explode from your heart, and it's energy. It comes back to energy, and when you have that happiness in your heart, it really vibrates out to other people. And everyone that you come encounter with, and every moment in life is not going to be this happy moment. It's just because, we are in our physical bodies as human beings with feelings and emotions, and it's about those times of handling through that, seeing that, okay, and honoring yourself. I'm having a bad moment, and be honest with people about that, because they don't know either. Say, look, I'm really having a bad day. Be honest. If somebody says, how are you today? Say, you know what, I'm having a really bad day. You may never know what that other person has for you. A smile, a hug, anything. It could change your day. It could brighten your smile.
Yep.
And so it's a happiness that's meant for you to shine. And it's just a great reminder. Keep the fun alive. Whatever little thing that you can do to keep a little magical spark in your day, it can change your everyday life around.
Yeah, because like when we did those trips, we kind of we planned the trips when we were supposed to get there and how long we're going to be there. But other than that, we just were spontaneous. If we pulled off in a certain place we liked, we just pulled off. We didn't have to worry about how soon we're going to get there or whatever. But it was just nice to be able to do those things and explore things and go out to dinner at different places and different foods. And I think my biggest surprise going out west was seeing the buffalo, how small they are. I was like, what? Hollywood makes these things like great big monster beasts, when you see them, it's like, they're that small?
Yeah, it's, it was really fun, and I think we're overdue for another one.
Sure are. But it's just, life is just, there's a lot out there to be experienced. I know there's a lot of, things out in the world that we don't like seeing, and war, and, people hurting people and stuff like that. It's just, I know that's a hard thing to deal with, but, we can, be the best person that we can be and be the change that we want to see, and, affect the people that are around us and the people we touch. And I think that's important that we all do that, and, just be the person that you want to become. And people are going to see that, and when they see that you're doing that and living it honestly, that's why it's important to be honest with yourself. It really inspires people to initiate change in themselves, and that's what we really want to see in the world, right? We want to see each other loving each other and being at peace, and if we want that, we got to be that to ourselves, and not criticize ourselves, not judge ourselves, not be this person that we judges people and all that other stuff. It's like, be the person you want to be. Be the person how would you want other people to treat you? You should treat yourself the same way and treat others the same way. So it's really important.
Yeah, there's some pretty valuable lessons in that.
So, I guess it's our time to do our happy place meditation. Speaking of being happy, it's important that you get in touch with your happy place, and because that, what happens when you're in your happy place is, you come alive, you get in touch with your spirit, and your heart overcomes with joy and bliss, and we want you to be able to tap into this, and you don't necessarily have to be at that point, at that physical place, if it's a physical place or event or person, whatever it is, but we just want you to be able to get in touch at any point, any time of the day or night or whatever, just in your life in general.
Right.
So, if you would, sit in a comfortable position and get ready. Alright, so here we go. Go within to what you cherish, love, and hold sacred. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in, then out. As you're sitting there with your eyes closed, sense the clear blue sky above with the warmth of the sun. As you take your next breath in, pull that sunshine into you, and that light lighting up every cell in your body and soul. With your exhale, push all the darkness out, your worries, doubts, fears. Feel your feet on the ground. With your next breath in, share that sunshine with the earth. Push it deep into her core, lighting up every part of the earth. And when you exhale, bring that light back through you, up through the top of your head, out, back to the sun, spreading it throughout the entire universe, lighting up the entire universe. Now that you're filled with the light, bring your attention to your heart. Think of a time, place, event, person, or feeling you hold dear. Your happy place. Feel the feeling of your heart expanding with joy and bliss. Isn't that amazing? Notice your overall well-being, the calmness, the warmth of your heart and your soul. Stay here for as long as you like. Here, you transcend time. Know that love is a choice. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to influence change by living the example of love. You have greatness within, for you have the power to choose love. And love is the most powerful in the act of compassion toward yourself and others. The power of you is the power of love. Okay.
Phew. I still love that meditation so much. You know, this is just a simple thing to get you back to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can, like we say, it can be anywhere. You know, just don't close your eyes if you're driving. We always recommend. Just, you know, even at work or, you know, doing the dishes, just sit there and just bring yourself to your happy place, because happiness matters. And, you know, your excited life matters, and your confidence in your life matters, in yourself. And when you can bring all that together, you know, an amazing life is here to be lived right at this moment. And when you can bring yourself at the moment and refresh yourself and rejuvenate yourself and honor yourself, you know, you can bring your presence and your love to the world, and it's a pretty amazing gift.
Yeah, it's a really great way if you're having a hard time, or you know, your thoughts are just driving you insane. You're like, you know what? I just want to get in touch with my happy place.
I've heard this one used by my daughter to her grandmother. So, you know, it's just that place to get, you know, to bring yourself back.
Yeah, it's just a tool that we've used and discovered and, you know, changed here and there to make it more, you know, better and more connecting to the earth and give you a great experience, because it's, you know, it's worked so great for us and our kids too. So
I always say mine, I take myself to the beach just because I love the sounds of the ocean and the presence of the ocean. And, you know, I just have always loved that place. And even though I can't get to the beach all the time, I just find my peacefulness lies at the beach. So when I'm feeling all those scattered feelings and, you know, I have to bring myself, you know, I can't be at the beach, but I can just feel the presence, you know, imagine the waves and the sound of the ocean and the feet, you know, the sand under my feet. And it really helps you bring back, you know, the harmony, and it's your happy place.
Right. Can't go wrong with that. As long as you're not harming anybody. But yeah, it's a really, everyone loves that song, Happy. So I mean, it's just so important for all of us to get in touch with that. If it's your happy place is singing and dancing, hey, that's where it's at. So
I guess that's it for
today.
today?
I guess that is. So it's been great. I'm glad you guys joined us. We really appreciate you guys being here. It's always a pleasure to have a conversation with the people that we love and hold dear to us.
You can always find us over on our website.
Yep.
At www.ericandlisa/salisbury.com. Find us over there.
Yep. A lot of great resources and things for you to learn and get in touch with yourself.
We got our happy place meditation over there too.
Yep. And a lot of stuff that we've been covering, our books there too. Habits that create a happy, excited, confident you.
And it's really, our place for you to come to get, some resources on, whatever you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
If you're, we're all looking for something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that love that you can bring yourself will really help you, find what you're looking for.
Alrighty. So until next time, live your dreams.
Laughed often.
And love openly. Thanks.
Bye.